Friday, baby.
Friday, woo! We're back. Welcome, internet users. This is Stegowow, and we are here to review Foundation, Season 1, Episode 5, Upon Awakening.
Upon awakening.
Upon Awakening.
Upon awakening.
And also with you. This will be filled with spoilers, as all of our episodes are. We are going to talk about the show. We're going to talk about the big stuff, some of the little stuff, and everything in between. If you haven't seen, we did all the other episodes that came before 5, which would be 1 through 4. So,
yeah. If you like this review, maybe go back and check out our other ones. I guess we've mentioned that we have not read the book.
That's true, but it's been a minute since we brought it up. So normally I read everything before I watch it. It's almost like a personal rule. So this is an exception to my rule. And I'm enjoying it, and I'm wondering what the experience is like for someone who has read it. Because, you know, sometimes you're loving it, it's spot on. Sometimes it's different and good.
Yeah. Yeah, we've gotten some comments lately about the book, comparing it to the book. It's difficult not having read the book.
How do you mean difficult?
Because I want to know. I almost want to spoil it for myself. But because we started doing this, I'm like, usually I listen to every podcast, every review if I get into a show. And I'm intentionally abstaining from anything just so that, you know, you and I can have a conversation about each episode on equal footing.
It's fresh. It's ours. It's not somebody else's.
Exactly.
You know? That's got to be hard for you. You are quite the binger.
There is an advantage. I don't think I've ever watched something based on a book that I liked. I mean, I almost always get mad at the thing because it's not like the book.
At some point, I find if you can't separate the two pieces of work from each other, it becomes super frustrating. You have to be able to separate them.
Yeah.
I heard an excellent comparison recently.
Okay.
The author of Little Fires Everywhere, Celestine, I believe, said the series adaptation of her book was like a cover song. You don't want to hear exactly the same song when Johnny Cash covers Hurt. You don't want the exact same song. That was her example.
That's a good example.
That was her example.
That's a good example.
So, yeah, I don't want necessarily a play-by-play. Like, there's probably very few exceptions to that.
I feel like I'm getting better at that. Shall we move into the episode?
So we open with Gaal swimming, talking about black holes.
My favorite, Gaal in her environment.
Yeah. She's an acolyte, we find out, which is a religious thing. We must check the university for forbidden activities.
We gotta go ceremony some babies.
Do your prayers, we gotta get the babies all ceremonied in.
And as she's finishing the ceremony, one of the advisors leans into the seer priest and says, we need to check
check the university for forbidden activities.
Right.
It's weird. It's like it's dubbed in too. It's just very clunky.
So they approach the university and we meet
Mr. Soren.
Doctor? Did he have a title?
Senor.
Instructor Soren. I would never strip a man of his title. He happens to hand her, of all books, Callie's Book of Folding. That's convenient.
Well, this is how she finds the golden ticket. Like, we've been wondering all along.
Right.
Why would a girl on Synax find a golden ticket? They don't even have chocolate there. Here is
the smoking gun.
Yeah. I wanted to say the slughorn, but this story has become too rich to continue applying the Willy Wonka analogy, unfortunately. Fortunately? I don't know. But this is just an exposition bomb in this abandoned / condemned university.
He explains what happened on Synax about overmining the vents and then the floods, which is why Synax is a water planet.
Yeah, it's a climate change. Like, we have a climate change. They have a climate change too.
Did Asimov write a climate change analog in 1942?
I'm gonna have to ask somebody who read the books.
Do you remember that planet on Interstellar that was all water where time moved differently?
The one with the waves?
Yeah. It was all water. Do you
do.
think that's what happened to that planet? Was there a whole civilization that flooded and then somehow reverted from knowledge because they blamed learning for the floods.
Gosh darn learners. Well, we also enjoyed this scene because it provided us yet another Jurassic Park tie-in, Chaos Theory.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Soren and good old Jeff Goldblum.
They both love chaos theory.
Yeah, that was very lackluster. We suck at this.
Do you want me to get a drop of water and put it on your hand so we can do the analogy for our listeners, or just watch Jurassic Park if you haven't seen it? So then we go to Soren's trial.
Oh, they try him?
Air quotes, trial.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the old hastily tied rock.
Rocks and books.
And the books, yeah.
Yeah, all that garbage.
There seem to be quite a few other people down there.
Yeah, everybody loves a good murder. State sanctioned, especially. Yeah, what else are the people going to do for fun? They hate learning.
They don't have any. Yeah, you're right.
Not enough rocks for a proper stoning, so you got to settle for public.
Gaal retrieves Soren's book in a very Waterworld fashion. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, she's a good breath holder. And you know what? I'm going to be petty here. I'm really glad they already established what a good breath holder she is.
Oh, yeah, good thing.
If this had been the first time I saw her hold her breath that long, I wouldn't have done the math to be like, well, she lives on a water world, of course. No, I would have been like, that's garbage. Now, I was like, well, okay. She wasn't going to message off world. Gaal does. She's got to get on that toit beam.
Yeah.
So she kayaks out at midnight to get the reply, which comes from Harry Seldon on the fanciest yak back I've ever seen. It's got the hollow display.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to be honest. I feel a little silly. It makes more sense that this is a widely known, unsolvable problem.
What?
Than what you and I have been talking about it as.
Okay, you mean the Abraxas?
Abraxas in general, yeah. We've been kind of talking about it as the secret problem that nobody knew was a problem. No, everybody knew it was a problem. No one could figure it out.
Sure. But that still doesn't explain the math competition.
Golden ticket.
I mean, was it inside Callie's book of folding? I still have a problem with this. But
the impression that I got from this exchange, well, I guess it's not an exchange if it's one way. The Yakback Hollow basically was saying, wow, you solved it. Now everybody knows about you. I hope I get you first. So I guess, how would she know to publish her work?
Yeah, there's a point earlier when I think her mom says someone entered a math competition on Trantor from Synax.
Maybe Soren must have told her. Does he say anything about that when he's in the university scene?
No.
Weird. Maybe that scene got cut.
I really enjoyed Gaal gleefully scratching math homework on a hide in the dark.
That was so weird.
Gleefully solving a centuries-old math equation.
Impishly.
I mean, I get that that's the point, right? Like, Gaal is this outlier. Or, sorry, that would be Salvor. Yeah. Gaal is...
nerd.
An outlier, being from Synax, and that's why it's supposed to be special that she can solve this, and I'm sure there'll be payoff down the road having to do with that. But the thing is, a lot of the time when I'm watching this show, I feel like it's based on a YA novel, in that the protagonist seems to be so relatable to a teenager as they're described in these broad strokes, and a lot of the character traits don't make a whole lot of sense, like being super great at math that no one can seem to solve on a planet where they don't teach math, and she's like the hero, and the way her frustrations are portrayed too is also extra, like much more than I feel like a normal adult would process situations.
I think that's very well said. It is like a YA character, even in the way she is developed.
And the romance that she has.
Yeah, it's developed more through action.
Yeah, is that just an artifact of the way that television is produced nowadays, or is it trying to reach a wide audience that way?
Is it a matter of taste and opinion? Like the vibe that feels like YA to you and me, maybe doesn't universally feel YA?
Yeah, I mean, that could be. I just keep getting wafts of...
Hunger Games.
Yeah, Hunger Games, The Maze Runner, Breaking Dawn. All right, let's get going. The math is undeniable. The waters are rising.
Yeah, but you know what? There's a point at which they make it super duper clear that math couldn't be the seer, and that bummed me out.
That's exactly what I wrote.
Math can be God.
It's right on the heels of that line. She says, the math is undeniable. And he says, are the seer's words speaking through you? And she's like, no.
No, it's math.
She could have saved herself so much trouble if she
Yeah.
just said yes.
Like
in
a
that
little
moment.
Joan of Arc. Yes,
Yeah.
100%. The seer is saying math. Bummer.
That was unfortunate.
And now we're kind of completing that event horizon metaphor from earlier in the episode. It wasn't a metaphor in the beginning. She was just saying black holes are terrifying because that event horizon is that point of no return. And then we see like she's embarking towards that point of no return as she leaves Synax. So it all comes full circle.
Like a black hole.
And in episode 1, I found it remarkable what a supporting and loving relationship she appeared to have with her parents. It was like so sweet. And in this episode, we find out there's a little more behind it, a little more depth. The pod lands perfectly on the conveyor belt, the luggage conveyor belt.
Yeah.
In the big ship.
It turns out that thing we didn't know what it was is an escape pod retrieval unit vessel. We never talked about this when Gaal got sent off in the first place, but that old trope, the liquid vat.
Cryo.
Yeah, because we were excited about the netting cryo.
Yeah.
But we just got boring old liquid lung cryo.
It was a little more terrifying, I believe, to be shoved in a tube that fills with liquid.
Which they used in the Abyss for him to dive deep, like go way down to fight against the extreme pressure and be able to breathe, which is apparently a real thing.
Yes, I dated a respiratory therapist, and they were very excited about the prospects of fluid-based oxygenation, because that's how our lungs work when we're in vitro. Because our natural air-based lungs work via negative pressure as opposed to positive pressure, and you can't simulate that from the outside. Like an iron lung is positive pressure. It doesn't simulate actual breathing. It like gets the job done.
Right. I think that's exactly how Ed Harris explains it in the movie. There was also the Red Planet with Val Kilmer and Steve Buscemi. No, Lieutenant Dan. What's his name?
Like Lieutenant Dan, I'm rolling. I don't know his name though.
Yeah, they do that again in that movie.
I don't think I saw that one.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I'm thinking of two different movies, but they're both on Mars. Remember in the 2000s when they just made like a Mars movie every couple months?
Yes, I do. Mm.
That was fun.
The Mars era.
Yeah.
So, in a fit of panic, Gaal accidentally throws Raish's knife into the ship dock, like magnetically locks in, and they initiate the Raish-Foss protocol. Man, did I want it to be pretty ladies and cigars, pain au chocolat, just like weird, like niche things that Raish loves, like just like a holodeck scene. Just like weird. Like, why would that pop up the minute you land on your spaceship?
So the supposition here is that Raish somehow knew after he killed Harry, he would get that knife to Gaal and get her in an escape pod.
I think the plan was that he himself was going to jump in that escape pod. And then Gaal doinked it all up by walking in on them. I think Harry was supposed to leave in his casket of his own making, and then Raish was supposed to hop in the escape pod, and they were both going to get shuttled off.
That makes more sense because then Raish wouldn't have died.
Right.
Boy.
A casket that he himself designed. And now she's headed to Harry's home planet. I know we're messing up the timeline a little, but it doesn't matter.
Boy, what a slick looking casket too.
Yeah.
It's tight.
With the window and everything.
Black with the red interior.
Yeah.
Mm. Classy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think Gaal is going to realize what we just talked through? That it's her fault that Raish is, once she understands the whole plan?
No.
Okay.
When she wikis Harry and then later Raish, not only does video footage immediately come up, it starts autoplaying like horrific things.
Yeah.
Like,
Just
trigger warning. Hello, the future.
You just say someone's name and it just starts showing you security footage of a murder.
It was security. It was very weird.
Yeah.
It was very weird. Lewis with his ridiculous hair.
Oh, we get to see floppy-haired Lewis again.
Talking about Harry Seldon's been murdered by Ra's and Gaal and launched in a coffin that he himself designed. It's like in a video game when an object in the room is illuminated slightly, so you know you're supposed to click on it and collect it. Like, some of the lines in this are like that. A coffin he himself designed.
Yeah.
Oh. Is that important?
And he was cold and no pulse. You triple checked? You triple
You sure? Have you guys heard of William Shakespeare?
Did you feel inside the coffin for anything
Trapdoor?
maybe out of the ordinary?
A little
Or
Harry Houdini action?
he had that set away aside in his cabin and you guys pulled it out of the closet and stuck him in there and sent him on his way.
To be fair, I do also miss quite a few like clues and hints and stuff. So I'm not saying that I'm the smartest person alive and they're the dumbest by any means. By any means. Some of them are just worth a good chuckle.
May the light never dim. Then we're back on Terminus.
The Huntress is here to destroy.
That eye bomb.
It's kind of gross.
Very gross.
An EMP, is that what you call that?
That's what I wrote down. Yeah.
Takes on the fences.
Lewis called it something else.
Field disruptor.
Yeah. They should not make those.
Ever?
Well, yeah. I just realized that it's not odd that she doesn't have that eye because that's her face is
Kablam mode.
Well, at least she didn't have to remove her eye for this plan. That's handy.
Yeah.
Or IE.
It would be. Gaal is unable to unalive herself in the shower because it does a flipperdoodle. Because that is a horrifying situation. Or
right. Waking up 35 years later.
Alone with a computer that won't really even talk to you.
Yeah.
Like, if that AI at least had some personality.
Speaking of tropes, like we've talked about before. Computer, what's my location?
On screen. Computer. Is this a window or a screen? Computer. I have to see it for myself.
I'm glad she asked it. I mean, she said what we were all thinking.
Yeah.
Is this the math montage? Can we talk about that yet?
And you know what? I'm going to be honest. It cracked my armor a little bit. This one did. She's wayfinding. She doesn't have a map. This recently came up because the simulation is very lazy and things tend to repeat themselves.
The simulation of life.
Yeah. The one that we live in.
Of our real
lives.
This
reality.
Yeah.
This reality.
Not something to do with the science fiction show that we're reviewing. You're talking about the simulation of our
that
lives.
we live in. Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to establish that.
Yeah. Wayfinding recently came up. You don't have a map. You just have your surroundings.
Are you talking about like divination rods right now? Is that what it is?
No.
She's divining.
We don't talk about our rods on this program.
But gashes are okay.
Yes.
So she's using her divining cones to figure out where she's going. Or as you call it, wayfaring.
Math. And it's called wayfinding.
Wayfinding.
She's establishing points and trajectories.
I love that this is a math show. So of course I'm going to love me a math montage.
This is my favorite one so far.
I've been waiting for this. I saw it in the trailer when she's writing and throwing it onto the thing. I've been waiting. I'm so glad we finally saw it.
I love when she said, is it parallel? And she says, the computer says no. And she says, is it anti-parallel?
So the whole math montage serves Gaal outsmarting the ship. And then in the end, she has to get out and go look anyway. We didn't even need the math montage. She had to go strap her ass into a spacesuit and get out there and look with her bare eyeballs anyway. Or sorry, infrared.
I mean, they're just different types of data collection. And she, as a scientist and mathematician, had to do both.
She wanted to.
Yeah, both.
That was her, like, pick-me-up.
Yeah, treat math.
She got knocked down from the course correction in the shower. She came to her senses. She was like, no, I have things to live for. I need to see if the plan has followed through.
Yeah.
What's the population of Terminus? They made it. Ship, where are we heading?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to tell me? Well, I'm going to do math because I don't feel good, and that's going to make me feel good.
You know, baby, she was born to math.
And she finds a dark star, and she's headed to Helicon.
The only planet that orbits a dark star. Do we know anything about Helicon?
I've never heard that name up until now.
Okay.
Harry's home planet. I'm curious why she was so against... Oh, she said because everyone thinks
she killed Harry.
She killed Harry, right. I forgot about that.
With Raish.
Because they kind of misled us in a previous episode. They mentioned Harry's murder, but they say it was his protege of all people.
Yes.
I think the Emperor's talking about it.
Yeah.
There's no mention of Gaal. It's clearly meant to be obfuscated from us until now. I'm having a hard time remembering that they blame Gaal.
We learn when she does.
Right.
That she's been implicated in this murder. Just a quick reminder that dehumanizing people is a great way to start mass murders and war.
You're referencing when Cray tells the Imperial troops we're about to land in 5 minutes. They blew up the Star Bridge, and I know that that's personal for some of you. I thought that they said that they wanted to commandeer an Imperial ship, and that's why they needed the manifest from the tower. But they straight demolished that thing.
Yeah, it is broken beyond repair.
It's very Boba Fett ship. It's like, what else could that have been?
Yeah, it's a unique design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no collective consciousness, or what do they call that when two unique ideas happen spontaneously? Universal consciousness or something like that.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, there's a name for it. I don't know what it is.
I always think of convergent evolution.
Yeah, it's like that. Pharah and Salvor.
Yeah, Pharah gets Salvor's mom, and Salvor shit talks her until her mom drops down and she shoots at Pharah, and her mom instantly and immediately needs validation, like on the spot, like laser bullets flying. We probably should talk about this later, like not right now. Right, Salvor? That's why you said those things?
I can't believe they shoved that in there. You did good, Mom. This fight scene between Salvor and Pharah.
Yeah, she destroys that sundial.
They don't really shoot fight scenes like this anymore. This is more of the Bourne Identity era, where you have the shaky camera and then it hops from one side of the fight to the other, and you have no clue what's happening.
Yeah, no
doing
reference.
What. Yeah, it's just like filming one blow after another,
and the two characters aren't visually distinct enough to make it easy on you.
Oh, it's even in the dark?
Yeah, it was a choice.
They were fudging it that day.
I was really trying to get into the fight scene. I was like, hey, don't get distracted. And you look right at that TV. I got distracted.
I mean, how could you not? They pick up a different weapon like every 2 seconds.
It was too much.
Chain.
It was too much for me.
A stick. And then it ends in the sundial.
I thought it was very interesting that happens to be a thing that we saw in episode 1 or 2. Her mother explaining why a sundial was superior technology for the Foundation to
the water clock.
And then it gets shattered in this scene, and I was like, is that symbolism? Like,
yeah, it does feel very symbolic.
Know. And then no, it was just foreshadowing it became the weapon.
I also thought it was supposed to be symbolic.
Like a callback?
Yeah, like the thing that you need most for the Foundation to survive, like the most basic transferring of knowledge, has been broken.
You can't even carry forward a way to measure time.
Right.
Like, you're not going to make it.
The Foundation is doomed.
You guys suck at this.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. We get a little bit of Pharah's backstory here. Her rage at all of the Sultan's followers. She says, your prophet's words inflame the empire to our ruin, basically. I wasn't really entirely sure why she hated these duders.
I was more under the impression that this was hush hush that the Foundation was kind of a quiet side project that the Emperor allowed to take place. Pharah kind of makes it seem like it's pretty common knowledge. Why would Pharah know that the Emperor even opposed the prophecy? Like, is there propaganda against Harry Seldon and psychohistory?
Yes, because he was starting to gain enough followers that Empire was worried that he was a rabble rouser. Remember, Orleo got straight splatted for reading Harry.
That's when we were
So, yes, people
told
did know.
he's the Raven.
Yes.
Which you can see Raven Corps
Yes.
command on a lot of the ship interior.
Yes. Yeah, so the prophecy was known well enough for him to have, like, he's got a whole cult. Like, he's got all those followers. And, you know, even people that work in the laundry will follow someone who says, psychohistory says the Empire is going to fall down. So, yeah, I think it is well known what the theory is and how the Emperor felt about it. Empire.
Right. No Empire this episode.
No, none. Which is a bummer. I really like Empire.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But I loved this episode.
Did you?
I did. I think I really enjoyed the little bit of Anacreon development and the crash. The crash was pretty.
I guess I really enjoyed Raish's ship. His bug out ship. So Gaal suits up to go take a look at that dark star. I thought it was going to be a black hole.
I did too. I was glad it wasn't. I thought that would have been a little bit too on the nose. And then there's that creepy, glitchy...
The glitchy Harry hologram.
Yeah, that's creepy. What's that all about?
I'm going to make a guess here.
Make it.
Maybe, as she's approaching, maybe it's a transmission from Helicon in the form of Harry's hologram.
But why would he film it while he's bleeding out? Like, I expected it to be like him at a desk. Like, Raish, you've made it. By now, you must know that you should meet on port 7. See you on Thursday.
So up to this point, we've been led that was hastily executed, maybe? The execution? A hastily executed execution?
Yes.
So the only opportunity Harry had to record his message to Gaal to let her know the plan was when her and Raish were running down the hallway and he was bleeding out. I guess he forgot to record the message.
He forgot. He was like,
he's like, oh,
I knew I was supposed to do something before dinner.
I gotta do it before I get in my bespoke coffin.
Yeah, of my own design. In reality, weeks ago,
he could have recorded it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure.
No, you're right. He forgot.
That's Harry, you know?
Yeah.
Just leaving things to the last minute.
Okay, that makes sense. So when we come back, he's just going to be like saying totally normal things. Meet you at the park.
Is Harry alive?
Yes.
I guess that's it. If you enjoyed this episode, maybe subscribe for episode 6.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
If you like us.
There you go.
Also.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Goodbye.